What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success. And if you don't know who I am, I run a Canadian clothing brand called K-Bud that's doing about $500,000 per year in sales. So I help clothing brands like yours get really good results. And in this video here, I want to talk about a personality trait that is literally required of you to have in order for you to succeed growing your clothing brand or in any area as an entrepreneur. And what I want to talk to you about in this video is the personality trait of openness. And we're going to get into this, and it's going to really explain to you more about who you likely are watching these videos, engaged in these ideas, sort of taking all of this in and applying it to your business. And I think it's going to give you a better idea of how you can be even more effective as an entrepreneur. So I hope you enjoy. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at BrandCrowd. BrandCrowd is this logo maker tool. You just type in the name of the logo you want to have made. Thousands of logos will come up. You choose the logo you like. You edit this logo for free until you make it perfect for you. This is a logo that I had made for my own brand that I'll be selling through my website. If you're interested, head over to brandcrowd.com/apparel success and you can get 66% off at checkout. All right, so I consider myself to be pretty grounded when it comes to my critical thinking skills, my ability to reason, my logic skills. I did a degree in philosophy. I was an honor student, and all that they teach you in that program is how to form strong, sound arguments. So what I'm about to talk about in this video might sound like I'm going to go off into like La La Land a bit and into some woo-woo stuff, but I promise you, we're talking about social science here. I believe in the scientific method, and everything that I'm going to share with you here is really backed in truth. And what we're going to get into here is how every single human being on the planet is born into this world with a different set of personality traits, a different set of raw talents or dispositions that they're given sort of at birth. Like if you look at a LeBron James, for example, he was clearly just genetically given a more athletic build with more sort of talent in that area than, Bill Gates was. Bill Gates was born with an equally powerful set of skills, but with, a higher IQ, higher intellect, higher openness, sort of just different traits altogether. And the way that I want you to look at this is almost viewing human beings like an ant colony. How in ant colonies, there are worker ants, there are soldier ants, there are cleaner ants. Everybody kind of has a different role based on what they were born with and what they were given to begin with. Now, where this is going before I lose you here is that there are different personality traits in human beings. And based on the type of personality that you are, you will fit better or worse into certain jobs, into certain career choices, and into what you decide to do. So there is such a thing as being born with an entrepreneurial capacity. Whereas there are certain people that I'm sure you've met in your life where their ability to be open to new ideas, their ability to think differently from the average person just really isn't there. They're more conventional, they're more traditional. They sort of like their standard routine, going to work, coming home, doing that type of thing. And that's completely fine because they're serving society that particular function and they're offering what they're made to offer. And I think what happens here is a lot of people come up through the education system, they set their eyes on a career that's flashy, that really is something compelling to them, but their natural set of traits, their natural skill set doesn't really lend itself well to that. So you can imagine if Bill Gates wanted to become a professional NBA player, like that was what his dream was. This is a lot of people's scenario. But you look at Bill Gates and you go, as much as I know you really want to be in the NBA, you're actually like the super smart computer guy, and you should probably focus on what you're really good at, what gifts you have and what you were given, because that's where you're going to reach your fullest potential. That's where you're going to be fully optimized. There's this personality test that I recommend every single person takes to learn more about what their real personality traits are so that they can really operate more effectively in the world. And this personality test is at understandmyself.com. And you can go through that website. I'm not being paid to share this. You can go through that website, read through it, and learn about the research that went into it, learn about just how legit it is. And what this test will do is it'll score you in 10 of the main personality traits that people have in terms of where you fit in and what you're best at and how you are and what your personality makeup is as a person. Now, this is fascinating when it comes to entrepreneurs, because in entrepreneurial domains, intelligence and openness are the two personality traits that best predict long-term success. So your intelligence and your openness, meaning if you go through this personality test and you score low in openness, entrepreneurship is really about solving complex problems and enjoying solving these complex problems, thinking outside of the box and enjoying that, being something that you're naturally good at, something that you naturally do. You really need to be somebody who needs a creative outlet. There are a lot of people that don't need a creative outlet. And to me, as, sort of more of a creative artsy guy who's not going to go, do the same task every day, I need this creative outlet. And it's why I've been able to do this YouTube channel for so long, so effortlessly. It's because it doesn't matter, literally, it doesn't matter whether you're watching this or not. I'm going to keep doing them because this is an expression for me. It's an ability for me to express creative ideas and share sort of my ideas with the world. Now, that statement that I just said, in entrepreneurial domains, intelligence and openness are the best predictors of long-term success. Let's break down these two. Because if you need to have intelligence and openness in order for you to be successful as an entrepreneur, let's break down what these are. In intelligence is broken down into two main components. There's crystallized intelligence. Crystallized intelligence is you learning things and all the things that you know. Your fluid intelligence is your brain processing power and your ability to solve complex problems. So as you're watching this video, as you just learned about crystallized intelligence, you're gaining more crystallized intelligence now that you know about crystallized intelligence. And you're applying your fluid intelligence to really process everything that I'm saying and gain this new understanding and remember it. Okay, so that's intelligence. And there are certain people that just don't have a high enough intelligence for you to be able to do this. And that's basically just the truth. And that's kind of why you constantly are gaining more information. And that's why you're trying to learn new things, is so that you can increase your intelligence, so that you can become smarter and so that you can get better results with this stuff. And then when it comes to trait openness, which is half of your ability to become successful as an entrepreneur, openness means that you're creative, meaning that you have a diverse range of original yet practical ideas. Meaning that you don't just come up with original ideas that don't apply to anything or make sense to anybody, but you come up with original ideas that have never been thought of before, that people resonate with, that are practical in the real world, that people are getting value from. And on top of this, let's consider people who are open versus people who are not open. People who are open are original. People who aren't open tend to be more conventional. People who are open are creative. People who aren't open are not creative. They like to do jobs that are very simple, same thing every day, don't really have to come up with solutions to anything. You just know what you have to do and you get the job done. Open people like complexity. They like solving complex problems. Not open people like simple. Open people are curious. Not open people aren't very curious. Open people are untraditional. They like sort of breaking convention and carving their own paths. And not open people are more traditional types. Now, the irony here is that if you're watching this video and you're really engaged and you're finding this stuff interesting and this topic interesting, you're likely a really open person. Because this topic alone, talking about personality traits, being willing to take a personality test to learn more about yourself and the different aspects of who you are and how that applies to your career, is something that only really an open person would do. And so, if you go through the comments and there's a whole bunch of negative comments, you can likely assume, unless I've done a really bad job explaining this here, that those people just don't have the curiosity or sort of the intellect to want to consume this type of content. And, I thought that this was super fascinating because as much as it may seem like I'm making this trait of openness out to be this amazing thing that everybody should have, I really don't believe that that's the case. Like if you put me as an open person into a job that required sort of this standard work where you're putting in hard work on something that doesn't really require much sort of thinking outside of the box, where you're doing your job right and well every single day and you do that consistently, I would probably be really bad at that because I need that creative outlet in what I'm doing. And so there's room in the world, and they're equally valuable, people that are doing jobs like that, versus entrepreneurs. This is where you thrive as an entrepreneur. If you're creative, if you're the type of person who has this obsession with, abstract ideas and deep philosophical concepts and psychology and marketing and all this stuff, then entrepreneurship is probably something that you're going to be very good at. It's probably a path that you should stay on. And the whole topic of this video is there's people that I see all the time starting clothing brands that I can just tell. It's like, this isn't right for you. This isn't who you are. You're not open enough. You're not creative enough. This just isn't your element. And that's cool. And I think that there's a lot of people like that are in this industry, that are in this whole world. And you just want to learn more about yourself so that you can make sure that you're on the right path and that you're doing the right thing. And I really hope that gave you some insight into yourself and into knowing what you're best at. If you got a lot of value out of this video, please hit the like button for me and let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. And if you haven't already, check out my free clothing brand marketing masterclass. All you have to do to get access is go to apparelsuccess.com/masterclass, and you can watch the whole thing for free. And if you've made it to this point in the video, I want to tell you about the closed Facebook group that we have for Apparel Success. There's a link in the description. Follow that link, join us in the group. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.